And where does he think he's going?
Head over here.
If more guys show up, we are going to have to sell tickets.
Damn it! Where'd he go?
A problem?
Nothing special. These streets are just crawling with all the rats here.
Got ID? I saw those three following you from the hotel. Was it something specific or just a simple mugging?
They had a hard time telling me what they wanted.
I know Brenner. What does the P stand for?
Weak-willed.
The film begins with a group of hitmen gathering to carry out an assassination. These killers are sent by the mafia with the objective of eliminating a witness protected by the Federal Bureau. In order to reach their target, the hitmen neutralize all the agents guarding Marcellino, including the agent leading the investigation against the mafia, who is shot dead without being able to defend himself when he opens the door. Now we meet Bleer's father, a high-ranking official of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mourning the death of his son, Harry mentions that he was about to celebrate his birthday in 2 weeks and that he has been working for the FBI for 27 years without anything ever happening to him. He then asks his partner to obtain the list of everyone in the protection program, as well as those who knew about the investigation, and no matter what he has to risk, he will make everyone responsible for their deaths pay. Later, we follow our protagonist, a former federal agent with military experience who is expelled for using excessive force during the arrest of a suspect. After his expulsion from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Kaminsky moves to a small town called Brennerville, where he now works as a sheriff after a long chase of a man who steals a police uniform and motorcycle. Our protagonist catches him and takes him to the station to lock him up in jail. After a long workday, Mark arrives home and finds his wife baking a cake. Mark asks if it is a special day, and Amy replies that they are celebrating their 5th year in exile and that she is tired of living in the town. All people ever talk about is the weather and the crops. She then reproaches him for retiring from his previous job. Mark tells her he did what he could and that they gave him the opportunity to resign. Otherwise, he would have lost the case in court and been fired. He would not even have been able to work as a sheriff. They would be worse off than they are now. He believes things might change later on. They just need to wait a little longer. As night falls, Harry calls him to say he wants to talk in person. He has some problems that require his help, and he might be able to get his old job back. Early the next day, our protagonist goes to meet Harry, who shows him footage from the trial of the mafia boss, a man who reported an income of $73,000, but somehow managed to buy a 7-bedroom mansion in Chicago, a hunting cabin in the mountains located in a Midwestern state, a house in California, and 4 luxury vehicles. All of this while maintaining a lifestyle that humiliates every businessman in the United States. When asked for an explanation, Patravita responds that he has many debts with his friends and that he acquired his properties through loans. When asked about these supposed friends, his lawyer advises him to plead the Fifth Amendment. The same response is given by his executioner named Paolo, who is responsible for eliminating anyone who bothers his boss Patravita. Harry tells him that his son is murdered by the mafia while protecting a federal witness who could put Patravita behind bars for life. The FBI has nothing to do with this, and he has $45,000 saved to finance the operation. What he wants is for him to infiltrate the organization and destroy them from within, and if he accepts the mission, he will do everything in his power to get him reinstated. He explains that the FBI has spent years trying to dismantle the mafia and has attempted to infiltrate several agents into Patravita's family, but the organization always discovers the infiltrator. For that reason, he will tell no one about the operation. Only the two of them will know, which is why he summoned him to a strange location, and without thinking twice, our protagonist accepts. In order to avoid investigations, the former agent fakes his death at the oil company. After renting an apartment, he begins investigating the mafia. Patravita has been leading the organization for 20 years. He is a very intelligent man who had to eliminate many others to reach his position. His right-hand man is the executioner, a ruthless and strategic individual loyal to Patravita and willing to eliminate any threat to the organization. His new identity corresponds to a man from the NC computer system with a long criminal record. The phone number belongs to a safe house, where an answering machine is set up to receive his reports. He leaves him $25,000 for expenses and will send more if needed. The man currently causing problems for Patravita is named Martin Lemansky. He must provoke him to attract attention, and he must remember that the man who ordered his son's murder is the boss's right-hand man. After preparing his plan, he heads to Martin's casino with the objective of causing chaos. Noticing that the table has a magnet in the center, he throws iron marbles to expose them. The guards try to subdue him, but our protagonist uses his combat skills to defeat them all. Then he leaves the casino and returns with a tow truck, causing massive destruction. The next day, Martin informs his former leader about what happened. It will cost him a fortune to restore his business, and to Lemansky's surprise, Patravita orders him to close all his businesses. He must retire immediately, or he could end up a corpse. He is tired of his problems. He gives him 2 days to shut everything down, and he will never work in his territory again. Furious about what happened, Martin orders his men to kill Patravita, but thanks to his guards, he manages to escape alive. One of them sacrifices his life to protect him. Patravita says he was a good man, and they must make sure to replace him with someone equal or better. Meanwhile, the former agent decides to speak with Martin's girlfriend. He steals all her jewelry and leaves them stranded in the middle of nowhere. He then goes looking for the boss's right-hand man, telling one of the guards that he needs to speak with Mr. Roca, who denies him entry until he mentions that he is an enemy of Lemansky. Once in his office, the mobster asks his name, and he responds with his false identity. Paolo says he knows what he did at Lemansky's business. Mark places the criminal's girlfriend's jewelry on the table to intimidate him. Max asks what he is trying to prove, and our protagonist replies that he could be useful and can handle many things. Suspicious of his real motives, Max begins asking several questions. Kaminsky tells them that he has been in Florida in recent years and that they can find his data in the computer. Martin grows bigger every week and is expanding his properties. For obvious reasons, he knows he is taking territory from someone. Paolo tells him to speak with a cashier. They will give him $1,000 in chips. And when he leaves, Keller says he does not believe a word he said. After collecting the chips, he gives them to a woman who is gambling. When leaving the hotel, he notices that some men are following him. He enters an alley and hides before attacking them by surprise. When one of them pulls out a knife, a patrol car appears and the mobsters run away. The supervisor asks if everything is all right, and Mark replies that they were just street rats. He shows his fake ID, and they let him go. Back at his apartment, he informs Harry about his movements. Tomorrow, he will rent a vehicle to get around. Something happened last night that left him thoughtful. He does not know what to do if a police officer shoots at him. He is attacked by 3 thugs. He has a feeling that Max is involved, and he believes Paolo might be investigating him. The next morning, undercover agents carry out an operation to infiltrate one of the mobsters' hideouts. Without firing a single shot, the agents neutralize all the criminals. Upon hearing the news, the boss says they lost $100 million, which is exactly what Lemansky needed. With all the substances it contains, he will sell them at a good price and monopolize the business. The executioner says they must kill him, but his boss replies that this is exactly what he wants. If they attack him, they will start a war. For now, the best option is to avoid conflict. They must wait for the right opportunity. He asks about the replacement for his bodyguard, and he is told that someone is in mind and still being tested. Patravita says they must recover the money, including the substances seized by the agents. They have someone who could help them. He wants to recover what was stolen from him, and he will do it no matter the cost. Paolo tells our protagonist that his partner believes he will bring them trouble and does not want him around. Mark replies that he has been in prison and thinks Max makes many mistakes. Despite his partner's doubts, Paolo gives him a chance in the mafia. It should be considered temporary, and they will start working tomorrow. As he is about to leave, the woman he gave the chips to approaches him and starts flirting. They talk for a few minutes, and our protagonist takes her to his apartment. After a couple of drinks until they are drunk, Monica takes him to bed to have sex, but Mark ends up falling asleep. Taking advantage of the situation, Monica begins searching through his documents to share them with the mafia. In the next shot, we see that the former agent only pretends to be drunk. Apparently, it is part of his strategy to gain the mafia's trust, since he had already investigated her before speaking to her. After speaking with and offering $1 million to a corrupt agent, Petrovita grows furious for not receiving clear answers. His informant asks for some time to investigate the case. Paolo advises his boss to be careful. Their contact could be working against them, but for Petrovita, betrayal is not an option. He has no alternative, and his hands are just as dirty as theirs. A couple of hours later, Max and his new partner head to a nightclub looking for one of their associates. They discover he is giving money to Lemansky. The owner of the establishment tells them that Martin threatens to burn down his business, and he has no choice but to pay him. He accidentally spills a drink and stains the hitman's clothes. Enraged by this, Max is about to kill him, but Mark stops him and throws makeup in his face, warning him that if he pays Lemansky again, they will return and end his life. As they leave the office, they run into Agent Baker, who says he receives a call reporting trouble. Mark tells him the guys just have a problem with makeup and everything is already solved. The supervisor says he always finds him in strange places and that if he keeps hanging around people like Keller, he will end badly. Then Max asks about his history with the agent, and he explains that he meets him the night he sends the 3 thugs to follow him. Meanwhile, Lemansky orders one of his men to capture the man who destroys his casino. Before killing him, they must beat him to intimidate their potential enemies. They have to prove they are not afraid of anything. While attending a mafia party accompanied by Monica, Rocco approaches to welcome him to the family. His boss wants to meet him. As they head toward Petrovita's office, Max stops them to take a photo together. Later, he speaks with Monica and says he sees them getting very close. It turns out Max is the one who hires her to investigate our protagonist. So far, she has discovered nothing. Max confesses that he loves her and promises that if she stays with him, all her debts will be paid. But Monica replies that she would only end up owing him instead, and there is no point escaping debt just to owe someone dangerous. Continuing with the former agent, Petrovita tells him that his right-hand man believes he will be valuable to the business. Mark replies that he thinks the same. According to their internal investigation, they know he tends to move around quickly, and the former agent answers that he does so because he has never been part of an organization that protects him, since without belonging to a family, moving frequently is the best option. Petrovita asks if he has ever killed anyone, and he responds that he has killed 3 people and can provide their names and addresses. The mafia boss stands up saying he likes intelligent people, but those who think they are too clever disgust him. He tells him to return to the party, and he leaves saying it is a pleasure to meet him. Petrovita tells his associate that he is undecided and they cannot trust him too much. They will give him some time to impress them. If he fails, they will use him for something dirty and then end his life. While in a clothing store with Monica, Lemansky's men appear looking for trouble. Monica uses items from the store to help our protagonist gain the upper hand. After knocking out the thugs, the couple leaves before the police arrive. Back with Petrovita, the mobsters begin proposing plans to recover the seized money and substances. They have the station's blueprints and will buy off corrupt officers to break in and retrieve everything. Petrovita's contact provides the exact location. They must act before it is moved to a federal warehouse. Paolo says it is madness. There are 50 police officers spread throughout the facility, and it is an impossible mission. At that moment, Mark suggests faking an explosive attack. Once they receive the threat, everyone will evacuate the building. Paolo says they receive threats all the time and nothing guarantees they will believe it. Brenner replies that they must make them nervous. They will make them think someone is planting bombs in every station, and if they carry out an attack at another station, the threat will feel more real. Later, we see several men infiltrating one of the stations pretending to restock vending machines. When the sergeant notices they are not the usual employees, he stops them, but they continue working and claim they are new. Once the explosive is placed, the men leave and detonate the bomb without being discovered. While inspecting the attack scene, Prosecutor Baxter asks Harry about his current status. He hears he is removed from the case and tells him not to worry. They are doing everything possible to investigate and discover something new every day. One day, the criminals will run out of options before they run out of patience. Harry says his patience is already gone, and because of that comment, Baxter asks him not to interfere, since it could ruin their plans. But Harry believes their efforts will accomplish nothing. Meanwhile, Max approaches Monica and flirts with her. He tells her he buys the horse she likes when they are together, and when he notices her lack of interest, he says he never thinks she would fall for Brenner. He tries to touch her, but at that moment our protagonist appears to stop him. Max attempts to defend himself, but his partner points a gun at him. He thinks they could be friends, but after what he sees, they will only be co-workers. As they sit down for dinner, Monica tells him she notices that the more they get to know each other, the less he wants to spend time with her. Mark says the men who attack him at the store will return to cause more trouble. He does not want her near when that happens. Monica confesses she likes him and seems to be the only one who feels something. Unless he tells her he is married, she will not stop trying. Mark remains silent, and from that reaction, she concludes he is married. She asks about his wife, and he replies that she is far away. Even though they cannot have a relationship, Monica becomes an important person in his life, and he considers her a friend. Disappointed by his words, she leaves, and Max notices the situation. When speaking with Harry in person, he explains there is a conflict between gangs and Petrovita plans to eliminate his enemy. Harry does not consider it important. As long as they do not hurt the wrong people, everything will be fine. The infiltrated agent informs him that the mafia has a plan to recover the seized money and substances. They cannot do anything to stop them. Otherwise, they will discover his true identity and realize there is a rat among them, so the best option is not to intervene. Harry tells him the operation is becoming complicated and that he will understand if he wants to abandon it. The former agent explains that last night he is about to call his wife to let her know he is alive, but it is too dangerous for her. If they stop now, everything they have done will be pointless. Besides, with his new identity, he lives well, wears the best brands, drives a good vehicle, and always has free time. He has never been able to live a luxurious life before, and it is the only good thing in all the bad. Anticipating their moves, the mafia executes its plan to recover what is seized. Max informs him they can also eliminate Lemansky using the same strategy. For our protagonist, it feels rushed, and things could go wrong. Later we see several men ready to enter the station disguised as a bomb squad, and they call the sergeant themselves to threaten detonating a bomb within 22 minutes. Due to the previous attack at one of the stations, the sergeant decides to inform the captain in order to proceed with evacuating the station. They call the bomb squad, and the men respond by asking them to evacuate the area and set up barricades 100 meters away from the building. They manage to infiltrate without being stopped and spray paint over the security cameras. Then they begin breaking the locks with a blowtorch. Meanwhile, the hitmen spot their target and are about to shoot him, but they lose visual contact because of the crowd. Mark says it might be a holy day. He did not take into account that it was a holiday for them. They will have to follow him until they get a clear opportunity. Returning to the infiltrators, the team manages to open the safes and start storing the money along with the substances. After following him for several minutes, they reach the highway where Max tries to run them off the road, but since Lemansky's car is heavier, he merges back without much trouble. They drive a few more blocks and our protagonist attempts to take out the driver. They cross paths head-on and the hitmen eliminate Lemansky's guards. Trying to escape at full speed, Lemansky ends up crashing into a gas tanker truck. After securing the money and the substances from the mafia boss, the bomb squad withdraws from the area while evading the police. A couple of hours later, Max meets with a commissioner who arrested Brenner in the past. He shows him the photos taken at the party, but he assures him that it is not the same person. The real Brenner is currently in the Caribbean. In the next scene, we see Petrovita arguing with his FBI informant. It turns out to be Baxter, the man who assured Harry they were doing everything possible to dismantle the mafia. Petrovita yells that he has an undercover agent inside his organization. Baxter assures him he has nothing to do with it. He believes Harry wants revenge for his son's death. He has a friend in the FBI who reviewed Harry's cases. What he does is not official and is not in any file. If they have him killed, there would be no direct connection linking it to him. At that moment, Max appears, mentioning that he has a plan. He will set a trap to finish them both. As he is about to leave, Petrovitas stops him to say he will keep an eye on him. If he discovers that he has caused damage to his organization, he will be a dead man. That afternoon, Keller meets with Brenner to tell him they have an assignment. As he is about to get into the vehicle, Monica appears to apologize for leaving earlier. She would like to talk about a couple of things. Mark tells her he has something to do. He hands her his car keys and promises to call her when he has time. Monica kisses him and asks him to be careful. Upon arriving at the cemetery, Max informs him that they must eliminate an agent. He has interfered with the mafia and caused many problems. Not knowing it is Harry, our protagonist draws his weapon to shoot him. Fortunately, he turns around and they lock eyes. Harry pulls out his gun and tries to defend himself, but the mobsters end up shooting him. The former agent neutralizes one of the hitmen and shoots Max in the shoulder. Before falling to the ground, Harry gives the mobster one last shot. Mark tries to help his partner, but he tells him to leave. If he ends up dying from the gunshots, the police will arrest him. It will take years to prove his innocence. He must leave right now. After failing to start the hitman's vehicle, Monica appears to help him escape. She had a feeling they were planning something when she looked into Keller's eyes. Mark takes her home and asks her to pack her things quickly. He must go to the airport to rent a plane. Monica asks what he plans to do, and he replies that he must complete a mission. He will take down the entire mafia. After showering, the former agent prepares his weapons in a bag. He puts on a belt with extra ammunition and grabs his jacket to begin the massacre. Then he heads to one of Petrovitas' properties and starts clearing the area by eliminating each mobster without getting out of the vehicle. This continues until he crashes into a loader and is left stunned by the impact. Suddenly, one of the mobsters appears with heavy machinery to try to crush him, but at the last second, our protagonist recovers and jumps out of the vehicle. He neutralizes one of the criminals and uses the truck to get closer to the facilities. After taking down the mobsters, he shoots the man operating the machine with his revolver. While reporting what happened, journalists inform that authorities believe it is a war between mafias. Petrovita becomes furious and throws a bottle. Brenner is responsible for what happened. Paolo mentions that he likely died in the attack. At that very moment, they see him shooting one of the security cameras. They draw their weapons and begin firing at the elevator, but the former agent appears through the ventilation duct. Using military tactics, our protagonist gradually neutralizes his enemies, constantly changes positions, and crawls to catch the mobsters by surprise. With no other option, Paolo and his boss retreat to take cover in the office. Desperate and not knowing what to do, Petrovita asks him to call the authorities. Suddenly, the former agent neutralizes his right-hand man, breaks down the door, and he tries to run out begging to be spared, but as expected, the former agent ends up killing him with a shotgun. As he leaves the mobster's office, he encounters the prosecutor crying for his life. It turns out the prosecutor was responsible for his expulsion from the FBI. He was the one who decided to press charges for abuse of power. Mark reminds him that the man whose bones he broke had kidnapped an 11-year-old girl. After assaulting her, he murdered and mutilated her to leave no evidence. He explained the reason he lost control during the arrest, but he did not even listen. He tells him he is just a corrupt man working for the mafia. Many innocent people have died because of his decisions. He picks up a gun from the floor and reminds him of the words he said before he was expelled from the FBI. The prosecutor grabs the weapon and tries to shoot him in the back, but the former agent shoots him before he can aim. While investigating the crime scene, the agents are surprised to see the prosecutor's body there. Baker suspects he was part of the mafia. He was responsible for leaks in the investigations. He believes he has an idea of what may have happened. At that moment, they report over the radio that they located a vehicle registered under Petrovita's name. Baker orders them not to stop him. They must follow him to find out where he is heading. Meanwhile, we see our protagonist arriving at the airport to give Monica $250,000. He says goodbye to her and asks her to leave without looking back. Monica hugs him and thanks him for everything. When she leaves, Baker appears in a helicopter to speak with the former agent. He confesses he always knew he was one of them when he saw him leaving the hotel. They are grateful for his great work. He did 100 years of police work in a single afternoon. In the final scenes, we are revealed that Harry is still alive. Then our protagonist appears to speak with his partner. Harry congratulates him on rejoining the team. Mark thanks him and lifts him from his chair to force him to walk. He tells him that his reunion with his wife went very well. They have just discovered that she is pregnant. He says he knows nothing about being a father. He needs his help. He wants him to be the godfather. For that, he must strive to recover mobility in his legs. He cannot remain in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. With his partner walking and laughing as he regains his mobility, we bring the film to an end.